everything that everybody says that there's going on in America is going on here too. Yes.
Downtown Jerusalem, the heart of the modern state of Israel. Has something gone wrong with the vision of the pioneers? Has the Zionist goal become an extension of the American dream? What would Eliezer ben Yehuda, the father of modern Hebrew, have to say about the street named in recognition of his hard work and contribution? How would the man responsible for the revival of the Hebrew language react to the growing use of English for business and for pleasure? Is this what is happening?
I think that in large part, those people who complain about the so-called Americanization are in fact being nostalgic. But when you look back at Jewish history, the Jews have been remarkably efficient at adopting those cultures around it, those elements from the cultures around it that it needed in order to survive.
The Israeli child has become a great fan of the, I would say, the dredges of American society. American society, they think, and all that they know of American society is Madonna and Michael Jackson, and this they flock to it.
If people want to look good and to put earrings in their nose and tattoos and to wear Levi's, it doesn't mean that we're losing our Jewishness or anything like that.
I don't think it's good, because we have a history in our culture and our costumes.
Since they weren't given Judaism, then they're going to pick up anything from America, or they may even go to Goya and who knows what other places there are in the world in order to pick up something to hold on to.
If now we look back at Talmud, and it's in a language called Aramit, 1,000 years from now, they'll look back at what we speak and converse in, and it'll be called Amerikait, because just as the Romans were the dominant, hegemonous power of their time, so are the Americans now.
We've come into contact with all sorts of other cultures, but if we are able to filter other cultures through the prism of Torah, we know what to accept and we know not what to reject.
I'm not bothered. I'm one who prays 3 times a day at least, and I will say that some 20 to 25% of my prayer book is written in Aramaic, which I take it was the lingua franca of the time, and there were many Hebrew disciples at the time who said, oh, God forbid, we shouldn't have Aramaic in our language, like people say today. We shouldn't have English titles in our streets, we shouldn't have this and that. And I said, no, on the contrary, it's part of a dialogue.
Hellenism has disappeared from the face of this earth. At the time that Judaism fought Hellenism, Hellenism was mighty, was strong. It had a great message. But anybody who filtered it through the spectacles of Torah saw that Hellenism is empty. What's the historic proof? They're all gone.
I have no problem that my kids will eat McDonald's in Israel, as long as it's kosher again. My problem is, what do I take from America? Do I take from America the positive elements? The positive elements is I want to lead the world in a kind of a moral role model, or do I want to be part of the world which is not like America because drugs, because violence, because this and that? I take the positive.
I'm really unhappy about what's called the Americanization of Israel, because I left America to live in Israel, not to live in little America. It's not the 51st state. Okay, we have McDonald's, we have all the food places, but when you see the TV and the movies, and then you walk down the street and you see the kids, and you read about what they're doing, I see them emulating the worst of America, not the best of America.
Israel is in the process of forging its own unique culture. But is this distinct collective experience of 2,000 years swallowed up by the world's most powerful culture, America? Are we giving the world a moral message? Or are we buying messages from their sponsors?
Ladies and gentlemen, החיתול הכי נמכר באמריקה הכובשת ישראל!
רק גבינת מעודנת, מעודנת.
It's in everything, in the culture, in the clothes that we wear, in the way that we speak, in the way that we think, in everything. We're becoming an American.
There is no Americanization, there is globalization of Israel. We are an integral part of what happens all over the world by creating a new common culture, or at least marketing culture.
Call it Americanization or globalization. If Israel is divided on the peace process and on the conversion issue, this is an issue that unites people from the right to the left.
What I don't like with the Americanization here is that we take the, you know, the TV, the Hollywood, and the
I think we should be Israeli, not become like American, because we have our religion and everything. So I think we should stay how we are, not become what everybody accepts us to be.
Israel kind of loses its Israeliness and the Middle Eastern flavor that it has with all the American. Only problem is that I kind of feel that us Americans are part of the problem. We only encourage it.
If we're going to become members of the international community, there must be some long-lasting values out there that we can import here. Anything that is as passing and as ephemeral and as nebulous and as meaningless as Madonna and Michael Jackson is a symptom. It's a symptom of the emptiness. It's a symptom of the void.
Israel's president, Ezer Weitzman, has criticized the preoccupation of Israeli youth with what he calls the 3 M's: McDonald's, Madonna, and Michael Jackson. However, a leading educator says worshiping the cultural icons of America is part of the country's transition to join a more cosmopolitan society.
We have to remember that for many years we were complaining that Israel is very isolated, and Israelis were growing up in kind of a ghetto, as horrible as it is to use such a term, but the Middle East for Israelis was, in many ways, was a ghetto. We live in a different time, and that's an advantage.
What we see now in Israel, which I'm very proud of, is a lot of new energy of building our own culture. And it's beautiful, an Israeli culture, which I'm very proud of.
It's a well-known fact that Israel had a symphony before it had statehood. A rich, diverse, and distinctly Israeli culture of theater and film, art and music has emerged in the 50 years since. Thousands of teens are members of Israeli Scout and youth movements. The numerous indoor and outdoor activities deepen their identification with the land and its people.
So I would say it's a question of education nowadays is not to make the individual a one who remembers and can cite and quote the past necessarily or the past creation, but a one who can make moral decisions to the positive side. And this, I believe, we Israelis are still very good at.
I think that what is unique to Israel is the tradition, the people, the language, all the country.
Israeli youth today may prefer the American brand running shoes and soft drink, but patriotism and commitment to their country run deeper than a 30-second commercial message. This is Yudit Batari reporting.
Money, 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 Giorgio Armani, תמונה שלך עם הנסיך הלום אמריקני